Oh, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to show off another one of my bolt action armies, and this is my bolt action Last Defenders of the Reich force. So just before we get started, I'm sure I don't need to let anybody know that what the Nazis did was abhorrent, what they did to Germany and all the other civilians that affected was abhorrent. So this isn't me attempting to glorify the Nazis. It's just my love of history coming through and wanting to recreate it on the tabletop. So you see here, so this army is predominantly metal. So Warlord Games do our Last Levy box set. So I've got Last Levy box set and the Battlefield Berlin box set as well. So with the head swap system, I've been able to adapt and change some heads and change some models. So we've got first kind of the Volkstrum models coming around, and actually these two guys here show off how the head swap system, especially for metal miniatures like this, can change the look of the model. So same basic body, like a fireman's helmet and a red cap as well. Another thing I get asked about is the eyes I do. So if I pull this guy up, what it generally will do is paint the eyes black and put a couple of white dots in. It's not perfect, but I get a really good impression of the eyes. And the tabletop, sometimes it looks a bit mad and staring, a bit like the horrors of war. So these would be German civilians forced to take up arms against the invaders of Germany, and if you refused, the Nazis would probably execute you, including Hitler Youth. A really good insight into Germany at this point. Two great movies, there's Downfall and there's Jojo Rabbit. Both are really impactful movies. Jojo Rabbit just works on so many different levels, and I cannot recommend it enough if you're interested in this period of history. And because they're civilians, as you've seen as I scroll through, I've mixed up the colours a bit, added some greens, some reds, lots of brown civilian colours. Now, speaking of Jojo Rabbit, this model here, Captain K from War Games Illustrated, was one of the Giants in Miniature range they occasionally do. He's a brilliant character. The name of Sam Rockwell, I believe, plays him in the movie. And what's really interesting is this is his gear when he commands the Volkstrum defenders. If you look, he does come out with lots of pink triangles on his uniform and engages the enemy. Brilliant character. We also have a medic, Nazi leader, and finally this interesting guy. We notice the end of the gun on his barrel is bent round the corner. Now that is meant to be how it is. This was a gun the Germans developed towards the end of the war, which could fire around buildings. I saw this in the Imperial War Museum many years ago and I was amazed by it. So that's the basic Levy troops. I'll pop some more forces on the battlefield on my turntable and we'll show them off. Oh, keep dropping these metal models. I often get asked, is it worth varnishing your models? I generally don't varnish my models. If you did varnish them, spray varnish would be a way to go. Occasionally spray varnish can mist up. If you ever get it misting up, virgin olive oil is meant to help. The amount of times these models are out the case getting handled, I have many different armies and I play many different games, it's normally not worth me varnishing them. But if I was using them lots, especially with metal models, it would stop them being chipped. So what I'm putting out just now is I've got a Kriegsmarine unit, which when I saw those models I loved, and now I do have some SS troops that rounds out the force as well. And an anti-tank gun. So yeah, so these are a Kriegsmarine box set. Again, metal box set, head swap system. We have our machine gun with loader. Now, with the bases, I've basically used Astral Granite from Warhammer and dry brushed it, but I've also popped some wee bits of sprue in, which I've painted red to look like bricks. To tie it together and make it look like we've got an urban environment we're fighting in. And actually with these guys I did a lot more as well. I also got some sections of wall and walkway, make it look a bit like they're fighting over cobblestones. Again, I really like these models. I really like the 10-men boxes of models that Warlord Games generally does. So that's the Kriegsmarine. Obviously, probably not fighting in Berlin, but if I was doing some of the fighting in sort of North Germany on the coast, they could obviously join in. So moving into the SS. So this is my medic. Camouflage is just about having the confidence to put splodges of models down. I generally look at some colour schemes and get some colours which are there or thereabouts. I'm doing the impression of what the camouflage would be, not trying to recreate the camouflage. Then we have sort of communications setting. Probably is good for a spotter. And a couple of officers. And then what I did for my anti-tank gun was I got a copy of the Open Fire box set, and it had a replacement building in. It didn't have the normal ruined farm. It had some sort of house, but I think the house was made by Italia originally, and it was out of scale, so it didn't look right on the battlefield. So what I've done was chop that up and started using that as pieces on the different bases I've used. So I was quite pleased with how this anti-tank gun came out. And when I'm doing my urban city scape, I'll be using the kind of red bricks and stuff as well. I've got another couple of things. Now I've got no idea what the points are for this force. It should be easy enough to work out. It's just I've not got around to fighting any battles with it yet. Can obviously face off against my Americans, Late War Americans, but it's primarily designed. Me and my regular opponent Martin, we got the Battle for Berlin box set, so we'll end up doing some Berlin battles eventually. So next, as we spin around, which I've put up on the thing as we've been painting as I've been talking about painting, is actually these are the plastic SS troops. Pretty much as you'd expect, heavily armed elite troops. Again, in terms of points, these guys with assault rifles, veteran troops, are really points heavy, but they're really good troops for the battlefield. And again, camouflage is nothing special, but from a distance, it's pretty effective, and it's there or thereabouts. Now, I'm going to spin it around this way and show off the final piece for this. Is my King Tiger. So I actually Googled, YouTubed, what I searched for, and followed a simple painting guide for this, and I've sprayed it like a tan colour to begin with. Then I've used blue tack and I've put that on, and the bits that wasn't blue tacked I've painted with this green. I've added shade over it to pick out some of the details, a thin down shade. Then on the tan I've added dots of green around the border, and on the green I've added dots of tan to make things stand out. I think the transfers add a lot to the paint scheme as well. There's lots of rust and dirt and oxide on the metal parts. and the barrel as well, new barrel oxidization. And finally I've added bits of dry brushing of metal to make it look chipped and worn, so that we can so it looks battle worn and battle ready. So yeah, I really enjoyed following the paint guide for that. I've painted it a few years ago now, so I don't quite remember what the channel was that I shared the paint guide for, but I'm sure you'd be able to find it. A really nice, easy paint guide to follow. So there you go, that's my Last Defenders of the Reich World War II German Army. Eventually look forward to getting on the tabletop, but I've got some Stalingrad battles and then some battles for the Pacific Islands to go first. So anyway, I hope you're having a great hobby time at the moment. I look forward to hearing your thoughts on it and seeing what you've been up to. That's goodbye for now. Goodbye.